Okay, for tonight's homework, hopefully this will help you. First one has you draw a polygon and a non-polygon. First, for it to be a polygon, here I go. I'm going to draw some polygons for you. That is a polygon. No openings, no rounded sections, no crisscross. There is another polygon. No openings, no rounded sections, nothing crisscrossing. These are non-polygons. That one's got an opening. You can't have that. That is a non-polygon. That one has a rounded section. Cannot have that to be a polygon. Those crisscross, those are not a polygon. Something trying to show something three-dimensional, not a polygon. Again, polygon cannot have openings, cannot have rounded sections, cannot have lines intersecting, crisscrossing. Now sketch of a regular polygon and a non-regular polygon. Regular polygon, all equal sides. That is a regular polygon. All sides are equal. All angles are equal. Another regular polygon. Equilateral triangle. All sides are equal. All angles are equal. Everything equal. That is a regular polygon. Non-regular polygons are just polygons that are not the same length all the way around. That is a non-regular polygon. A right triangle is a non-regular polygon. Non-regular polygon. Those are all polygons still. They don't have openings. They don't crisscross. They don't have rounded sections, but they are not regular polygons. Regular polygons need to have all equal lengths. Next page. Draw lines of symmetry. Remember, the lines of symmetry, if it's a regular polygon, these are regular polygons. I can see all the edges are the same. The lines of symmetry always equal the number of sides. So here I'm going to try to draw this seven-sided shape. We'll have 7 lines of symmetry. Here we go. Here's one. Cut that exactly in half. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. I didn't draw that last one very well, but those 7 lines, we'll cut that exactly in half. It has 7 lines of symmetry, or the number of sides. Pentagon will have 5 lines of symmetry, always equal to the number of sides. Here I go. Here's 1. Equal sides, both sides. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. 5 lines of symmetry. As you get to the bigger objects, this gets harder to do. You might want to just believe me, the number of sides for a regular polygon always match the number of lines of symmetry. All right, number 4, diagonals. The lines connecting the inside. When you do diagonals, do not assume the number of sides equals the number of diagonals. That is not true. I want you to use this formula, n times n minus 3 divided by 2, where n is the number of sides for the object you're trying to find. First one I'm going to do is the one here, the pentagon. So where there's an n, I plug in 5 in both places. The rest of the problem is the same. It says do the work in the parenthesis first times second, and that gives me 5. pentagon is the only regular polygon that has the number of diagonals the same as number of lines of symmetry. So let me try to draw them. There's one diagonal, two diagonals, three diagonals, four diagonals, five. From corner to corner, not including one of the edges. We're a seven-sided shape. Again, I want you to use the formula where there's an n, plug in 7. The rest of the formula stays the same. That gives me 7 times 4, which gives me 28 over 2, which is 14 diagonals. So you can see it's a little harder when the objects get bigger. I will try to draw some of these, but you'll see I will lose track. It gets tougher. So 14 diagonals. 1, 2, 3. Can't do that one. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, and I lost track again. That is tough. Maybe 14 right there. I'm not exactly sure. Again, I would not try to count and draw diagonals. I would use that formula. Unless, of course, you have a square. A square is really easy. A square only has 2 diagonals. Of course, you could plug in 2 into this formula and get that same answer. A triangle has 0 diagonals, and again, if you plug 3 into that, you would get 3, and 0 on top, you would get 0, I promise you. But again, these smaller ones, sometimes easier to draw than use the formula, but as you get to the bigger ones, you need to use this formula. Good luck.